Welcome to the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast, your home for all things football at Waldorf University, the best small college football experience in America. Hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson, from the secret gridiron bunker beneath Volsdorf Field. Now, let's meet the captains of today's podcast.
Welcome to this edition of the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. We're in season 2, folks. We're up to about episode 5, I think, and we're going to hold steady on our course with our guests. So we're gonna continue our carousel of coaches, and this week, a very special guest is another Iowa kid, and he's not a kid. I mean, he's a man. Mm-hmm. He's a man. We have with us tonight Coach Mike Gould, hails from Iowa City, Iowa. Everybody loves Mike Gould. Coach, how you doing, man?
That's pretty good.
I'm doing well. I appreciate you, fellas.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
Well,
glad you're here.
Let's hold off on that, the appreciation thing.
Hey, we'll see. Things are about to get real.
All right, Coach, before we got on the podcast, you said that there was some things going on with off-season this year. Is that something that you'd be able to share with us?
We'll jump right into it.
Is there
Sounds
some
fun.
issues going on with the Warriors?
Let's talk about what happens when kids are misbehaving academically.
So we take pride in our academics. For us, we want our kids to know that there's life after football. So this week we got our grade reports, and most of them had good grades.
That's good.
So people don't know. Maybe people don't know that the coaches see the grades of their players.
Eligibility.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Just keeping track of our guys and making sure they're on pace to graduation. The bad part about it is we had a bunch of guys that decided to not go to class.
Still have to pay for it, though, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what exactly happened is with these young men as they decided to take matters in their own hands and do nothing?
We decided to fix the problem is we got all of our guys to the basketball court, and we decided instead of lifting and getting better as just like an overall athlete in the weight room, we decided to 70 is our mark. So we did a lot of burpees and sit-ups and sprints and making sure these kids understand that not only football, if you go in the real world, you get a job and you want to support your family. And to do that, you got to do your job to the highest ability. Mm-hmm. And showing up on time and being respectful. And so all we were trying to do is set these kids up for further down the road. Yeah. Because you can't go to your boss and be like, oh, sorry, I missed this day.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Wasn't feeling it today, bud.
Yeah, I'm sick today, or not telling anybody, because the next day you potentially could be gone. Yeah. Then now what do you do with your life?
Well, it's life lessons, you know, and through using the medium of football and training and off-season workouts, teaching the young men a little bit about the way the real world works.
Well, they are so blessed when you really think about it to have a group of adults who are saying, no, this is important, and we're going to remind you of that. Do you remember Chuck Oden's, right? The old middle school physical education.
Mr. Oden's loved him.
Yeah.
Still do.
He would always say, I don't know if he ever told you this, but he said it to me quite often, and that is, if you can't think with your head, you'll think with your feet. And then I had to run a lot of laps.
I never had that.
You never had it? Well,
no.
I had it quite a few times. No. And it seems to me like that was something that happened today.
Absolutely.
They had to think with their feet and their core, too, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for us is just like understanding that it takes zero athletic ability to go to class. It takes zero athletic ability to show up on time. Mm-hmm. It takes zero. All it is just effort and waking up and just going throughout your day. So I keep reminding these guys that, yeah, you might be talented, but we gotta think further than your athletic ability. It takes zero effort, zero talent to go to class.
Right. And that's what they're here for.
Absolutely.
They're here to get a degree.
Get a degree.
Most students that aren't in in a sport, though, they don't have somebody keeping an eye on their grades because colleges don't release grades to the parents.
Nope.
They do release a request for money, though. I noticed they don't request the grades. You have to give that up freely to your parents who are maybe helping pay the bill. I noticed, but they do give it to the coaches. So that is a good thing for parents to know. And it is still recruiting season. I guess recruiting never stops. Is that something that you bring up?
The one thing I not promise, but tell all my recruits and their families that I take pride in academics. So I'm gonna be on your sons, but that, hey, we're going to class. We're going to go get our degree. I got my degrees, and I had to fight and claw a way to get them. But I still, if I can get them, you guys can too. So that's what I preach to my fellows and all my recruits and all their families. Like, I want your son to walk across the stage.
So if I'm a dad and I'm sitting there with Junior, and you're visiting with me at my house, and he's incredibly talented, as you might imagine, and he's like, I'm like, yeah, I know, right? And he's like, listen, I'm saying to you, Junior here is really good, but he is just really not good at doing the schoolwork.
No book learning.
How is he going to benefit, going to living in a dorm somewhere in Iowa, and now he's going to be trying to go to class, and I can't even get him to clean his room. What do you say to that stuff?
I just say we have a lot of support. When I say support, I mean we do a lot of study table hours. Guys going in there and doing their homework. I do with my position group that I do the grade reports, and we have to sit down and we have to talk about them. And then a lot of when you're a young kid and you're trying to go to college, you think you're by yourself. Like, it's freedom, and you don't know what you do with your time. So some of my players have to sit out and set up a calendar. They need to visually see, I have a test on Friday. Okay, I get to study from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Or I got a paper due Wednesday, but I have a test Friday. Okay, work on my paper Monday, Tuesday, bam, turn the paper in Wednesday. Now I'm studying for that test.
Right.
So it's just setting those kids up to succeed.
Yeah.
And a lot of young athletes don't know how to do that. They think they do.
Right.
But when the bullets are actually flying, they panic.
Right.
So it's just calming the storm and showing them what is successful and what works for me and what might not work for you, but I'm at least showing you something that will produce.
So, Andy, we jumped right into it. We said, with Coach Gould here, we're like, hey, there's a lot more apparently to coaching than just the X's and O's and improving the positions and recruiting the people for those positions. It's also a whole lot of coaching about life in the classroom.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I tell these kids all the time when I have an opportunity to talk to them about, you always ask how the class is going. 3 things. And I heard it come out of Will Finley's mouth like it was his own when he was still here. And he stole it from me. But the 3 things that you can do to really, I've always said, especially in a college setting, is if you do these 3 things, that you're gonna elevate yourself. You're still gonna have to work, but if you can do 3 things, number 1, you got to go to class every day, unless you have a really good reason not to. That's 1. Another thing, turn in your assignments on time. Turn them in, completed on time to the best of your ability. And your 3rd one is get to know your instructors, your professors. Sit down and talk to them, because I've got stories, and I'm not going to tell them because it might incriminate people, but at the same time, there's something to be said about when you're writing a paper or something like that, that can be relatively subjective. And if you have a relationship with your professor and they think you're a good person and that you genuinely care, and you need to genuinely care about your studies, that when they're grading that paper, they might say, you know what, Mike Gould's a good dude. He's working really hard, and I see where he's trying to go. He might not quite be there, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. That is a B+ paper all day. Now, if Mike Gould never comes to class, doesn't turn his assignments in on time, and you don't know him other than saying his name when you're doing roll call, then when you're reading that same paper, looks more like a C- to me. So those 3 things, kids, is get out there, do those things.
Yeah. That's
so
good advice.
Thank you very much. Coach, did you have somebody like that in your career coming up, through school?
I had my coaches. I mean, they pushed me, but I think I had one admission counselor that actually took the time and showed me my ways, and just like you're saying, hey, be respectful, show up on time, sit in the front row.
Yeah.
And then I slowly started working with the professors, and that's how I got by in college. It's not like I was the smartest kid. I wasn't a great test taker, but I was in my professor's office every single day.
Yeah.
And all hours, just, hey, can you explain this a different way? Or I'm not picking this up. And they saw that, and they're like, okay, at least he's trying. And then I slowly started getting better. I mean, started picking it up faster and all that stuff, but I think you nailed it. I mean, I had just had one person, and she showed me the ways, and now I'm teaching young athletes the ways she showed me.
That's key. I mean, you just said it, but it's okay to ask questions, and you find that educators they like being educators. So if a student really at any level has a question, they're not getting something. It's I would say in most cases it's a pretty good thing and a good move actually to go ask the question and say, hey, I'm not picking this up. Is there another way you can explain this or whatever? I suppose occasionally there might be that one who's like, what are you, an idiot?
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that's great advice. Yeah, people need to know that they can. It's certain. I agree with that they should ask the question. If you don't know a word that somebody uses, don't just nod your head. You're just like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, just ask.
Yeah.
And we want to see, as coaches, we want to see you succeed on the football field. So we're going to do everything in our power to make sure you succeed. The professors are the same thing, but in the academic world. They want to see you succeed, so they're going to try every little thing to make sure you succeed. It's the same thing, and some of these young athletes don't realize that until they either flip the switch or it's a little too late. But no professor, I don't think, wants to see a student just be like, okay, whatever, just write them off. I think they're now, is there a couple? Sure, but most of the professors wants to see you walk across that stage so they can be like, hey,
I helped do that.
I help him get a degree.
Yeah.
Or help her, whatever.
Yeah, I had the occasion to talk a few weeks ago to a father that had his twin sons. He's from the cities. They actually signed with us, which is good. I'm not saying I had anything to do with that. But the dad said, he kind of pulled me off to the side and said, I got a question for you. And I said, well, it's time out. You understand I'm not a coach. I'm an old guy wearing Waldorf stuff, but I'm not a coach. I said, I'm a community volunteer.
Right.
I'm assigned to the locker room. I hand out mouthpieces and girdles, man. That's all I do. And he's like, no. He's like, what's the most important thing for you guys here at Waldorf football? I said, well, I'll tell you this, it ain't football. I said, for us, I said, football's a means to an end. Really what we're trying to do here is that you're going to give us boys, we're going to give you men back. And what's important to us is that they develop into really, really good people. We're going to use football to help that. It's going to teach them things. They're going to be better when they come out of here. I said, so football to me, I don't care. I do care about football, but at the same time, that's not the most important thing to the staff. That's not the most important thing. Shouldn't be to those kids. Yeah. I said, what we want to watch your sons walk across the stage someday and accomplish something. That's really what it's about.
I'll tell you what.
And that's genuine. I wasn't just blowing smoke.
Well, that's what a parent wants to hear, though. I mean, when they really think about it.
Well, they signed.
Yeah. That's
I mean, we're full into recruiting time still. I mean, now the real rush is over, Coach.
Yes, sir.
But had her signing day. That was great.
But like Troy said, it never ends.
Yeah.
What's it look like from your perspective as far as that day-to-day recruiting?
So we signed a lot of good kids, and not only good athletes, but good kids.
Yep.
Recruiting day-to-day, it's nonstop, though, every single day. Meanwhile, running the weights and being a college football coach and all that stuff, we're still up late, still calling and making sure. And it's definitely a process, and it's a long process. But I've firmly believe that our coaching staff did an amazing job out of the transition and all that stuff. And we managed to sign that many kids on signing day, and there are a lot of good kids, though. Yeah, that's the best part, because usually throughout this transition, I've been part of it, that you just go sign, just the number and the sign, but you don't take the time to get to know the kids.
Right.
We took the time to get to know every single kid that we signed.
Well, and I was up there a few times during recruiting days, and you got to spend some significant time with not just the recruits, but the families, just off in a room by yourself, talking about, what Waldorf football is all about. What's that? I mean, I heard a lot of laughing when I went by there, because it's a closed door. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing, but there's a lot of laughing. There's a lot of happy stuff. So what's your pitch?
So I like talking to the kid, talking to the parents, and then talking to them together. The kid's going to ask just mainly football questions.
Mm-hmm.
Not worried about the academic side, and they want to know, okay, what's the class sizes, but parents really want to know, how are you going to take care of my son? At the end of the day, what are you going to do for him? Because they might be the last child in the house.
Yeah.
They want to know all that. So for me, talking to the parents is just preaching how good our community is. That's number one, because they're worried about their son going to a community and they'd never been to before.
Right.
So I talk about the community a lot, and then I get on the academic side and what can I do for their son, and making sure I'm taking care of them like they're one of my own, and making sure they succeed. So there's a lot of laughter, but
So I'm going to stop you for a second. You can probably hold an idea longer than I can before I lose it. Oh, no, too late. No, I'm just kidding. So, but yeah, this is a message then for the community of Forest City too. We say that a lot. We said it on, many, many, many shows about how, unique the community is, and certainly around football and all of that. Players have said that they have noticed that. So it rings true. But as a reminder, if you're listening to this and you're a community member, then this is our opportunity. Every time you see a kid who you might think is a Waldorf student at the dollar store or at the grocery store or at the gas station or out and about, whatever, make sure you say hello. Say, hey, are you a Waldorf student? How do you like it? How are things going? And just have a conversation, get to know some people that are here in our town for, a few years. So they're doing that. They see in all of the sports the attendance from the community, certainly in football. So I'm glad to hear that. But just a little reminder for the folks in the community, this is our part too. We get a chance to represent and be a part of these people's lives for a short period of time, and we want to do the best we can too.
True. Absolutely. The community's half the battle. I mean, recruiting kids and telling the parents and our players, it's all about how good the community is. And some recruits will be like, no, you're just blowing smoke, right? But then I turn on the film and show them our tailgating session or our stands, and then I have the players come up and they be like, yeah, this community's amazing. They have taken care of us. So for the community, it's you guys are recruiting with us. Without you guys, we wouldn't get half the kids we got.
The best small college football experience in America.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do. And it's not to put a feather in our cap. We're proud of this community. We're proud to be part of it. But more than anything, we're doing it for these kids. To show them what they're doing is special, and it means something to more than just mom and dad. And, when you talk to some of these recruits that came on a game day visit, they're pretty impressed just by wow, there's a lot of stuff going on here game day. It's like, yeah, this isn't anything, it's special, but this isn't anything out of the ordinary. And unless you see it yourself, it's really kind of hard to put that into words. You can tell them anything you want. They're probably, like you said, they might think you're blowing smoke.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, for us, it's, there's a Paramore. It's all about, making sure that we're getting it done for these kids. So you said something about you running the weight room. I know that when the brand new squeaky clean head coach comes in, he changed a few things. Nothing wholesale. We're still Waldorf football, but he kind of tagged you to, hey, this weight room coach is going to be your baby. Make sure that we're doing it, and there's no excuses, and it's getting super efficient. It sounds like.
Yes, sir. I've ran the weight room. I have a background in the weight room. Ran it a couple of places, and then didn't have to do it at Division I, and then coming here and going through the fall, wasn't much involved. And then I think I needed to get more involved, and Coach thought the same thing. And not saying our strength coaches do a phenomenal job with our kids.
You bet.
And I'm only in there either giving a piece of advice or just the mentality of, fellas, this is a business time. There's time to have fun, and there's time to have it's business.
That's right.
And just making sure it's consistent throughout the whole time I'm here. And our guys have changed. Our guys, their mentality has changed. It's been phenomenal. What our strength staff and what we did as a football staff, this is a big step for us.
Good. That's good. Because and we've said it, I think, on every podcast the last few weeks, is the work that they're putting in from now until spring ball and then through the summer. That's what pays dividends
right
on the field.
Yeah, this is the time to work, and then the season is just time to show off.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you've got the weight room. We know that there are improvements there. You talked about that. Talk about efficiency. When Coach Paramore was on, he was, indicative that was something that he was interested in, just getting things. I mean, he's got it down to like the minute.
Absolutely.
And you're a part of that.
Yep.
What's the protocol? What do you make your players do? I mean, do they clean up the weight room? Do they have certain rules that they have? This is how we come in. This is how we leave. Because that's a facility that's shared by a dozen other teams.
Absolutely. And we were blessed enough to we're the only team in there at that time, and we're the last team in there. So
okay.
We have 2 weightlifting sessions, one at 4:30, one at 5, and then that last group we have to clean it up. Couple rules for me is just no jewelry.
Jewelry?
Yeah. Wait.
You can't wear. What are you talking about? Like rings? No rings, no chains, no
chains,
watches,
no necklace, no earrings, none of that stuff. Because I've been a part of programs that, okay, you're lifting with a necklace and now it breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're mad at me. Or it's all.
That would happen to me because I really flex my neck. I can.
Yeah. Okay. But
excuse me, I coughed.
Another thing is like that. If you're wearing all that stuff, you're all about yourself.
Okay.
Look at me individually.
Yes.
This is a team sport. We're gonna look like a team, and by God, we're gonna look like a team.
Right.
I like that.
I do like that. I like that.
I started watching Coach Prime.
Oh, did you?
That documentary.
Sure.
And I've never been a Deion Sanders fan necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't dislike the man.
He's called prime time for a reason.
I'll tell you what, watching him is impressive. And it was like the Friday night before their homecoming game, and some poor kid's cell phone started ringing. And he looks over, all right, whose phone was that? And the kid raised his hand, get out of here. It wasn't like, you need to put your cell phone up, just get out of here. And the kid said, yes, sir, gets up and walks out. And then you have an earring in. And he's like, yes, sir. And he goes, don't tell me that I'm the only one that saw that earring. Who else saw that earring? Oh, nobody. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm the only one. I'm sitting up here 20 feet away, and I'm the only one that saw his earring. He's like, and he just looked at him and goes, get out of here.
Yeah.
And I thought,
that's the kind of discipline that I'm accustomed to from the military. Like basic training will absolutely. That's where they'll start with that. And they'll say that you can't have any of your pockets unbuttoned. Your boots have to be a certain way. All of that, just the usual military stuff. And that would be the same type of thing that you'd hear a drill sergeant say, for example, or any NCO as you go through your career. Any non-commissioned officer will say the same things. Like you got something in your pocket there. Your pockets. See your pocket. I mean, I would check pockets when I was a first sergeant. So I'm like, there's nobody going to tell me if you know what I mean? But my pockets, I'm like, I would walk in before I go to formation. I'm checking my pockets and making sure I'm in, to the 26 years later, So, yeah.
No, I used to be a little more strict. Not not saying I lost my ways, but it used to be when I was a strength coach. It used to be like you have to have your shirt tucked in. We used to wear black shorts, same team t-shirt. But now
there's value to that, though.
Absolutely,
absolutely.
So now my battles is telling people to take the earrings out, and but it's baby steps. They haven't done that, and it's hard, but.
Well, do you also get them? I don't know if you do this. Is there a concerted effort to get them to address people by sir or ma'am? Maybe that's just a thing. I mean, it seems like since literal, we'd have a lot of that. And I don't know if that was something that you weren't here then, but I mean, I don't know if he demanded that. He's got kind of a little Southern bent to it. I know a lot of our Southern athletes that come up here, they just naturally, respond, yes, sir, or whatever.
Yes.
And and then vice versa, our kids from Iowa and Minnesota, they don't say that. That's a cultural thing. We don't. But then I have noticed where we've got people from the Midwest where you typically do not address people as sir or ma'am. And then, but in a football program,
talk to Sam Jeffrey.
They
sometime.
will.
Sam Jeffrey is a yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, yes.
So is that
no,
pushed by the coaches? Is it instituted, or is it a culture that created from some of the other players, or is it even a thing?
No, it is. It's a thing.
Okay.
Like and I tell my players all the time that if you're going to address your professor, it's a yes sir or no ma'am. It's respectful. Coach P, he preaches it.
He's from Alabama.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There on the
peanut capital of the world.
Yeah.
But I'm from Iowa, and I say yes sir, no ma'am. Like I still say it. So I mean, I just think it's a respectful thing.
Right.
Is it like is it strict? Like you have to say it? It's not as strict as that, but. Man, I get on these kids' butts if they don't.
Well, it's the discipline stuff. This is an interesting conversation we really haven't had with somebody, because look, the discipline that says yes sir, no sir, and then holding each other accountable. Is your shirt tucked in? Hey, tuck your shirt in. The coach is coming. Getting squared away, being ready, cleaning up the weight room, being 15 minutes early. All of those things are life skills. One, we talked about that at the beginning of the podcast, but it's also why does this even matter? Well, it matters because your footwork matters just the tiniest little bit when you're dealing with an offensive or defensive lineman, where your hand position is at, the slightest little detail, the read that you have, like the timing that you have to get off the ball. Every second count. It's a game of inches, if you want to quote any given Sunday, but it's like that. It is all of those tiny details, and that's how you win the game. So cleaning up after yourself in the weight room, addressing people a certain way all the time, looking after one another is the same thing as looking after each other on the football field and on the sideline, building each other up. Remember, we talked to that one podcast where you say, I see you, and keeping each other, taken care of.
Sam Huntley.
It all is part of the game. You're teaching the game in a very broad way. And then the game is a great teacher for what we hope these young men go out and do in life.
Absolutely.
What does football do? What's the core of football? What does it do for people?
It changes how you go through life, I feel like. I was a college football player, and the football could give you so much, but what are you going to give back? I just think it changes a person. Any athletics, I feel like that team bonding, that constant study tables, the constant of, hey, tuck your shirt in. Hey, be on time. These kids are going to think about that 20 years later, and hopefully, they are doing the same thing to the next generation, and then the next.
It's a grind. I mean, it's the discipline itself, but it's the grind. Like, you can go to college and not play a sport. No. And you certainly can go to college and not play football. In fact, most people do that. It's not easy to get up and to do what you have to do, or put your body through the things that you need to be so that you can be prepared to put your body through the things that you're going to have to do when the season comes around. And it's just a ton of extra work. And it's an arduous task of, now I got 130 teammates that are like seeing if my shirt's tucked in, or I've got I think you got to live. You talk about, people in, you think small towns are maybe sometimes oppressive, like everybody knows your business. Yeah. Well, like on a team, people know each other's business.
Absolutely.
For that exact reason. Coaches know your grades. They know your business. And we talked before you got here. Andy and I were chatting about, one thing that Coach Finley says, and I know that the coaching staff continues this philosophy, is like when you're off the football field, you're not talking about football. You're talking to the players about the players' lives. You're talking to them what's going on, and that makes a huge difference in how they see you, why they understand that they're at, and also the accountability part of like, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best ultimately for me, but I'm going to do my best because I'm not going to let Coach Gould down. I'm not going to let my players down, my teammates down, all of that stuff. It's awesome.
For sure. And one of the things I love that football teaches people that play the game is that idea that you got to do your job.
Yes.
Because there's only 11 of you out there at one time. And if you don't do your job, you're putting all that weight on your brothers out there too, and they're either going to have to work harder or all of us are going to fail together if I don't do my job.
Yes. And you're getting into, you know what? You just walked into a philosophical session today. You're standing on the sideline. The rest of the team is out there. You said there's only 11 players out there on your side, 11 on the others. Both sides are watching this entire thing right in front of their eyes. They're the closest, with the exception of the referees, to what's actually happening on the field. And that is, how many times in life are you like watching the action from that somebody else that you've either, that somehow you're connected to, whether it's because you work with them, but you're not particular in that, or you voted for them or whatever. And you're just like, come on, I need, like everybody, this play's got all of that stuff. And just that whole exercise, that emotional experience of everybody doing their darn job and doing it well. On both sides, each side is just like, and gosh, you just take that so much further into and deeper into life, and how you approach your work, how you approach your family, how you approach the things that you want to accomplish.
Absolutely, do your 1/11th. That's what I tell my guys. Do your 1/11.
Yeah,
because all 11 people are doing their job. We're a damn good football team.
Yeah, what's
right?
You gotta get a calculator here. I'm not very good. Do you know what that is by percentage? Like 9% or something like that, 8%. I don't know.
Like 9.1%, 9.2. Something like.
Oh, really?
What is it? There.
9.1.
Yes, that is 9.1. Good job.
Let's go.
9.0909090.
And I was very poor at math.
Yeah, well, that was pretty good.
But
top of your head.
See, I'm one of these guys that when I'm driving along, I'm like, all right, I'm looking at my map on the car, and it's like, okay, it's
you do math problems in the car.
It's 170 miles to this town, and so that's exit 174.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm going 76 miles an hour, so I should get there. Let's see, right now is the time. I'm doing this much.
Yeah,
I should get there at 2:14, 2:13, depending on when that clock. It's going to be 2:13 because I do math all the time.
I do too.
Because usually my wife's sleeping or reading or working in the car.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we should take a trip together, and it would be amazing just to the mathematical conversations that would not occur, but we would be thinking it.
We would have fun. I'm actually
children. This is what you have to look forward to.
I'm actually going on vacation. I'll be on vacation this time next week.
That's
and we're driving down to Alabama. The Redneck Riviera. Can't hardly wait. But my wife and I are driving down. My sister, brother-in-law, and mom are flying down, and so we gotta make tracks.
That's a good 18-hour trip, 20 hours, I guess, if you're going where I think you're going.
Yeah, 18 hours.
Something
good like that.
Nice.
So, Coach, what do you do in your spare time? I know there's probably not a lot, but like when you're not with the young men or having to recruiting and everything else, what do you do to let your hair down?
Yeah, let's find that out. And I got a question that I'll probably forget.
I'm kind of boring, I kind of say. I like to do studies. When I say studies, it's a lot of film watching. So I'm kind of what the kids would call lame. But I do, every time I have a break, I will throw any game on, and what would I do defensively? I do it every time. But yeah, I watch a lot of film, and I have a bunch of whiteboards.
So is there, I assume you're a football fan. You like watching football.
Yeah.
you know, other than just regular Waldorf film or whatever. Is that a hazard of the job where you can't sit there and like, okay, on Sunday is the Super Bowl and you can't sit there and watch like, you know, oh man, why would they be in cover 2 right there? That is so dumb.
Yeah, do you do that?
So, absolutely, it has changed. It has changed. Like, if you're a football coach, you are not a fan, like a truly fan rooting for a team. It's you're always analyzing something.
Yeah.
Well, why'd they do that? Oh, this formation, why are they in cover 2? They should have been in cover 3. Or
Right.
Why didn't they play man here? It's like there's no fun of like back in the day. You're like, yay, let's go, get that first down. Now it's like, oh boy, if they call this play, okay, they have to go to this play.
I'm in the yay go.
Yeah.
He's really
It's like what they say when people are. My sister graduated from University of Iowa with a film degree, and now she's very hard to watch a movie with.
Yeah,
because she's just everything is.
No, if it's any other sport, I'm a fan.
So I don't. We haven't watched.
So what other
movie in
sports are you a
20
big
years.
fan? Are you a basketball guy?
Like I watch basketball, I love it, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You don't care.
analyzing. Like I can watch baseball, I can watch golf.
Right.
All day, every day.
Hey, was that your phone?
Get out.
Get out. Well, folks, that was our interview.
Anyway, we're gonna talk. That's great. Good thing Coach Prime is in.
Now, before I forget, when
question.
when we did the first interview with you in the first season, you came on board and you were saying, I love people, I love families, and you were living when you first got here. That was like we had you on board like you were on the show like within 2 weeks of being, not even 2 weeks.
I think it was probably just 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
From the time that you walked into the office.
I gave you guff because you're like, I mean, I'm a very loyal and everything. Except, I'm like, yeah, except for that college you left in like a heartbeat to come over here, you know. But so you were living with the Coach Finley, obviously. You know, are you still living in their house because they're gone now? So you just like finally
a lot of room.
Finally.
Oh no, sir. I was very blessed when I got here. Coach Finley said, "Hey, you can live with me. Find a place." Well, I end up living there for 5 or 6 weeks. But I mean, they took me in. I love their family. I'm going to miss them all.
Yeah,
of course.
But yeah, I mean, it was a fun journey. Going home and 2 little kids. And going to a family and I'm always grateful for the Finleys.
So who's a better cook, Will or Callie?
Yeah, that's a good question. We get some insight.
What are you gonna? He can't fire you now.
No,
that's true. Man, I'm gonna have to say Callie.
Yeah,
of course you will, because she'll come back and hurt you.
Yeah, I'm scared of her.
Yeah, well, we all are.
Yes.
Right. So you're on your own now, and you're watching film, and that's what you do with your free time.
Yeah, I'm
being lame.
Being lame.
That's what Ani said too. He said he was a nerd.
No. He said he watches Excel tutorial videos.
Yeah, I don't do that.
No, most normal people don't. But he even admitted that he's weird.
Yeah. Well, somebody used the term nerdery, which when I
like the nerdery.
Yeah. That's a straight out of Tommy Boy.
Yes, me and the nerds down at the nerdery.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Tommy Boy.
Yes. I know.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So Iowa City kid, big Hawkeye fan. Was that kind of your college football team coming up, or is it just hazard of where your location?
No. Growing up, I end up being a Ohio State fan. There's a reason. My grandfather, he lived in Columbus. He would bring me up there, and I would go to games. And then when he passed, and I took all the memorabilia, and ever since then, I would love to coach there one day. But I'm a Ohio State fan. But if I have to root for one, Iowa or Iowa State, it's definitely the Hawkeyes.
Yeah. That's kind of tough, And I love the Cyclones. I love the Hawkeyes. Not very enamored with the Hawkeye football program right now.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of, don't even want to go there.
Seems like they're not making any changes.
Oh, why would you? Everything's going so great. Good Lord.
Right.
Yeah. I just, you said that, to pay a company back one time, you left a shopping cart out there, which I still think less of you because of that.
I apologize for that.
I know. And, but it's one of those where I've kind of made the commitment that I'm not wearing any Hawkeye gear. I'm done.
Oh, okay.
I'm done.
Yeah. Good.
I got plenty, but I'm still not wearing any.
Done forever?
We'll see.
We're talking about like
That's a long time.
No, I can't say forever, because if they ever bring an exciting brand of football to the University of Iowa, I'll jump right back in. And I don't think it's terrible to watch, but I don't know. The only word that comes to mind is nepotism.
I know. And that's a big word to come to the mind.
Strong word.
But it's true, clearly. Actually, I'm noticing that a lot. And maybe it's just because I'm starting to pay attention more, or maybe it's just happening more. I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of the two. It does seem like there is a lot of nepotism in football, just really across the country. I'll give you an example with Coach Prime. Even he is bringing his kid, and so there are other examples. Well, the University of Iowa, the wrestling coach. Also, his kid wrestles for the University of Iowa.
His brother is an assistant.
And his brother's an assistant. So, and that's actually the same thing. That was the same thing at UNI, too, where you had the brothers that were, in charge and all of that. And maybe that's okay in wrestling. I don't know. But and I don't even know if that's necessarily a bad thing. But in the case that we're talking about at Iowa football, I think it is.
Yeah, anyway, Coach.
But Iowa's like, they will have a down year, then they'll have a good year. They're like a roller coaster.
They are.
Next year, it might be their good year, and then you're going to be wearing the Iowa stuff. The following year, you're going to be like, why is Iowa like this?
Yeah, I know.
They have been like a roller coaster.
Yeah, I know. Well, they got to score 25 points a game, or he's not going to. I mean, then he, they cut his salary by $50,000.
No.
So he's only down to $900,000 now.
Wow, that's pretty good, though.
Yeah, that's not bad cash.
My son, my oldest boy, Tate, he has confided in me, and he is one of the most competitive people that I've ever known, and particularly regarding football. He cares very deeply about all sports, but particularly about football. He told me recently, and this is largely because he is a Vikings fan, that he has come to the conclusion that life is just better if you don't care about of professional or college teams if you're not playing on the team. And I said, yeah, welcome to my world. I wish the best for everybody. I enjoy the game.
I do.
But my life has no consequences whether someone wins or loses, particularly in the professional or even in the NCAA or whatever. Now, I certainly have an opinion about Waldorf football and want even more. And but we started out our conversation discussing about football, but what it was really about is getting that degree, making sure that the kids become better men, and I feel like that's kind of where Andy and I both have a passion for that. I think we've made that pretty clear.
For sure. So how's your time been in Forest City?
Yeah, what's that all about?
I mean, you're not living with the head coach anymore, so that's a good thing.
I tell the recruits this too.
Still two kids though, random kids just.
Oh, hey.
But I love Forest City. There's not much to do.
And we like it that way.
I went to school in Fayette, Iowa. So
that's right.
There's not
even less to do.
I was about to say, because some of these recruits would be like, there's nothing here to do. I'd be like, well, I can take you to Fayette, Iowa.
Let me tell you something. Yeah.
So I tell everyone, I really love this community. Really, they have taken care of me. I really love being here. And I've been to a lot of places. And there's JUCO, D2, Division I. There's not a better place. I already have memories here. And I've only been here for so many months. So I really love my time here.
Well, and it helps, I think, if you look at the budding romance, and it's probably pretty serious now between Coach Paramore and Coach Ani. I think the same is true of Coach Chapa and Coach Gould. They spend a lot of time together, and obviously because they're on the same side of the ball, and I mean they a lot of game planning together. But the new defensive coordinator Tyler Chapa, that's got to be exciting for you because you guys have worked so close together the last year. And tell me a little bit about what Chapa's like.
Yeah, let's get into the details. Yeah. He'll never hear this.
No, he doesn't listen.
So Coach Chapa, he's a very good dude, and he cares. He cares a lot about these kids, more than anybody that I've ever met. Mm-hmm. I care about these kids. Don't get me wrong, but he genuinely cares, and he's going to do everything in his power. I was very happy when he got promoted to DC. I'm very happy and proud, and he has earned it. Mm-hmm. He's been here for a very long time.
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah.
So
that's ages.
Yeah, for this stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So he can coach football.
Mm-hmm. And he's got a ponytail. Are you going to grow a ponytail too?
No, sir. I'm going to let them do his thing. If he wants to keep the ponytail, keep it. But he's a overall great coach, great DB coach. He's going to be a great DC. Mm-hmm. And he's going to go far in this business because he cares so much and he wants to be great.
Mm-hmm. And that's let's go ahead and pull back the veil a little bit. That's kind of one of the tough parts. And we know this, about our coaching staff, is that there is nobody that we have sitting in those offices right now that doesn't have so much upside. And we know all you guys are going to do great things, coaching at Ohio State. If that's your dream and that's something that you want to do, I think that you have all the skills, ability, and personality to be able to do something like that. But same is true for the other 3 coaches we have on staff currently. Obviously we'll be adding some more people, but Coach Ani, Coach Paramore, we're so impressed by them, not just as coaches, but as people. And then of course Chapa, he's the old man of the group, if you will. But at the same time, he's got a ton of upside. So we have
not even 30 yet, and his birthday's March 6th.
Mm-hmm. I know. I think we all need to get him a birthday card on March 6th. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things we understand that you guys are going to do great things while you're here, and it's going to be fun someday for us to say, to a kid or a grandkid, hey, see on the TV, see that guy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know him. But it'd probably end there for me. I know him.
Yeah, that's right. We did that growing up here when Barry Alvarez was at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, that guy was a Mason City football coach.
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
So it's true. And it's the reality. I think our fans and our listeners understand it. It's always kind of a disappointment when, you see coaches move on. We see, the Finleys move on, and we sure appreciated them. Obviously, they were here when we started the podcast, but before that, it was literally see him build a program and he leaves, and we understand that shuffling occurs, and that is part of the game as well. So, what you do while you're here in the present and in our community, we appreciate, doing your 111th.
111th, baby.
That's right.
What kind of music do you like?
It depends on what I'm doing.
Okay. All right.
So hopefully my fans out there don't judge.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So many,
all 3 of them.
Right.
If I'm breaking down film.
Yeah. You listen to music while you're doing that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I go to either it's going to be country or hard rock.
Okay.
2 different vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Define hard rock, because I'm a child of the 80s, so,
I mean, like heavy metal stuff.
I don't even know what that is.
But if I'm in the morning from 8 till 10, I'll listen to some Christian music.
That's a good way to start your day, I find.
For sure.
Absolutely. It's calm, and then...
Who's your favorite Christian music band, group,
I don't have
singer?
A favorite. I don't have a favorite one. I just throw it on. I just throw it on the old TV and just jam out.
You put it on TV?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Did you say hell yeah?
No. Did I? Oh, boy.
It sounded like he did.
He said, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's
Oh, yeah.
funny. I was like,
I
I do the
caught you.
same thing though. No,
Yeah.
I'm with you. My favorite is Kane. I love that. 2 sisters and a brother, just fantastic. And whatever. But that's cool that you have that. So that's a good way to start your day.
It's a great morning, and then other than that, I mean, that's pretty much all the music I listen to.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm a
a
heavy metal guy. I can see it.
I've listened. Look,
sure.
we've had on this show the obscure songs that are in your head, and not all of them are that
Like
particular.
what?
Something about the Yukon Jack.
That was a poem. Yeah, we can't. That cannot be repeated on this family.
I was impressed that
no.
you knew it.
Yeah, I can actually repeat it verbatim, which is terrible. And and I apologize to my mother and to our Lord and Savior.
Yeah, we won't go back
Ooh.
now. Yeah, that probably would never come up though.
No, and
Yeah,
I,
like if you're standing around and just hanging out in heaven, and Jesus is like, "Hey, Andy, why don't you throw that good rendition of that Yukon Jack song down?" Everybody loves to hear that one.
it's Yukon Pete.
Oh, Pete. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, he was a
Yukon
dirty,
Jack.
motherless soul. I can't go any further.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I mean, music is not something that I like some music. My wife subscribes in her car to Sirius XM, and
But music also plays a role in the weight room. Plays a role in obviously when the athletes are getting ready, they're listening to their own mix of whatever, and then obviously on game day, I can tell you that it's a big part of game day because it's part of what I do. It's part of what the warm up is. Tell me about that. Like, what is the first of all, who picks the vibe for the music for warm ups?
Oh, I have no clue, to be honest.
So it's not you.
No, absolutely not. The guys would hate the type of music I listen to.
I think Coach Ani is pretty instrumental in a lot of that, isn't
Absolutely.
he? Yeah. I mean, he's of course he's damn near their age.
I was about to say.
Well, he's got probably has a spreadsheet of most popular motivational songs for ages 18 to 24.
Yeah, and I think like last year, not last year, 2 years ago, Coach Rohach was kind of the guy, and and I think it's kind of whoever's phone, and they kind of build their little playlists off it, and it's mostly hip hop because that's what a lot of these these young men like to listen to in their off time and when they're trying to get up or cool down. Either way,
do they listen to it? I mean, obviously when they're out and they got their helmets on, they don't have like little earbuds in or anything like that.
No.
But in the pre-warm-up, workout warm, whatever, like they've all got the ear pods. And you let that's not jewelry. Does that, can they have that in the weight room?
No, sir.
So what kind of music are they listening in the weight room?
We got the music cranked up in the weight room. I leave that up to the strength coaches. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
There used to be a time that I was like, I think Mondays was country, Tuesdays was heavy metal, Thursdays was hip hop, and then Friday was
Glenn Miller.
whatever.
That would be so
But
great.
yeah, they can listen to whatever.
Yes. Is that a clarinet? That's a jazz flute, my friend. Yeah.
I remember. See, this is okay. Talk about nerdery. When I was in at Waldorf my freshman year, and I don't know, I could still probably get a ticket for this or something. But my roommate and I used to sit in our room playing Nintendo NES, Super Mario Brothers, or Legend of Zelda, or something like that, drinking Milwaukee's Best Light, and listening to the Glenn Miller Orchestra, or sometimes Mantovani. You just never really knew, and it was as loud as we could play it.
Because nobody's going to come to your room and no CD is going to say, well, they're listening to Glenn Miller. So
They probably thought we were swing dancing.
they're certainly not in there drinking the Beast.
No.
Yeah. We always called that just Vespers, and that we were going to just, hey, we got to go to communion tonight at Vespers. Yeah. And that was what we did.
Interesting.
But you can tell the kind of people that are the age of the people that are in charge of the music. I've noticed that from announcing, both high school and Waldorf football programs, and in the weight rooms. You can tell like what age the coaches are, and because if it's anybody our age, which in a lot of high school programs it is. Then what you get is a lot of Guns N' Roses, a lot of Metallica, some Twisted Sister for some reason, and a good reason. But
AC/DC.
AC/DC, absolutely. And we even have AC/DC as part of our walk-up. At least that's what it was last year. Now, I have my own Warrior playlist, just waiting for the day when they, for some reason, the warm-up music doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I'll throw
ready to go.
I've got the Warrior playlist, yeah.
At the first team meeting, after the kids came back, I see a young man by the name of Trevante George and walked up to, I hadn't seen Trey since the holidays, and so went up and said hello, and he's wearing an AC/DC sweatshirt. And I said, Trey, I love your sweatshirt. And he's like, thanks. Hey, I just got it over Christmas. I said, are you a fan? He said, what? I said, the band. Oh, is this a band? I said, Trey, come on. It's AC/DC. And, of course, I'm talking to a kid that's in his 20s. And he has no clue what AC/DC is. He just liked the look of the sweatshirt.
No, if I throw that music on in the weight room, none of those kids would, bat an eye at it.
No.
They wouldn't be upset about it.
No.
But they'd be like, what is it? They would be like, what is this? But, I mean, you could throw anything on in that weight room. They'll still go. The expectation is still going to lift weights. So,
and last year the walk-up song was not AC/DC.
No, sir.
It was Enter Sandman. This was 2 years ago. It was Enter Sandman, and then we Lose Yourself by Eminem was the walk-up this year.
Well,
but I mean that's just me. I mean I've got these weird songs floating.
You are correct, sir. And for some reason I thought it was Glenn Miller. I don't know.
Yeah, String of Pearls.
Yeah,
maybe we could throw String of Pearls out there. So since you watch film, do you ever watch like series or movies or anything like that, or is it all just film?
No, I could watch a movie once in a while.
Is there a certain genre you go to?
Action or horror movies.
You're like a John Wick guy.
Oh yeah, I'll mess around with John Wick.
Oh yeah.
John Wick. There's a lot of violence in that movie.
There is a lot of violence in those movies.
But that takes the mind off of. You can't always think about football.
It's very, I agree.
It's stressful.
I've watched him. Yeah. I admire his efficiency with the violence. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen Law Abiding Citizen?
Yes, sir.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's Troy.
I've never seen that.
Troy.
It's a good one.
Troy.
Is that a John Wayne movie?
Nope. It's a movie with was it Gerard Butler? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and he declares war on the system. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
And I think you would enjoy it if you probably don't spend too much time around the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
And there's something very disturbing yet poignant about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Good word there, poignant, by the way.
That is a great word.
Thank you.
It's got a G in it for no reason.
It does. Hadn't given that a lot of thought before I threw it out there.
That's the way we do it. We just got to get it out. Every week we want to put out the best program we possibly can. Next week we're going to start again. We're going to with players, and we're going to get some of the folks back. So, folks, that's what we're going to be doing from here on out. Spring ball's coming up, not too far away.
Not far away at all.
60 days, and that's the next big thing. I'm sure you guys are planning on that. And we have seen some changes. We have seen some, like you said, efficiencies in the weight room. And we've seen the way of the Warrior start to take root. And I love that. And I hope that continues to grow and develop and spread, not just on the campus, in the programs, but in the community and further than that.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule watching film. And so we're going to leave you with the last word. You got anything for us?
I appreciate you fellas and appreciate our community. Go Warriors.
Excellent. Well, with that, thanks so much, everybody, for taking a few moments out of your day to listen to this edition of the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. For Troy Thompson and Andy Buffington, thanks so much for listening, and forever and always, go Warriors. You can join the Waldorf Gridiron Club today by sending a check to the Waldorf Gridiron Club, P.O. Box 125, Forest City, Iowa, 50436.
Or message us by visiting and like our Facebook page, Waldorf Gridiron Club. or email us at waldorfgridironclub@gmail.com.
Or it's as easy as clicking on the Support the Show link on your phone. Become a patron of the Gridiron Club by choosing to support the program monthly. $100 is the black membership at $9 a month.
The $250 level is purple at $25 a month.
$500 is the Warrior membership at $45 a month.
The all-conference level is $750 or $65 a month.
$1,000 is the All-American membership at $85 a month.
The champion level is $125 a month, and that's $1,500 a year.
$2,500 is the Hall of Fame membership.
The Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast is hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson. Produced by Sunnyside Farmstead Studios in beautiful rural Forest City, Iowa. The music is by Christian Leo. The Waldorf Gridiron Club is a nonprofit 501c3 organization dedicated to football student-athletes of Waldorf University. Our mission is to assist the program in maintaining the best small college football experience in America.